taken away or buried by others, and I will not get the promotion I deserve. It might be normal for someone else to steal credit in other countries, but it's absolutely impossible in an empire. Once verified, many people will lose their heads at the same time, even if it involves dukes or members of the royal family. But other concerns are not without merit, even though her statement is somewhat arrogant. Miss Katie, if I may ask, what are your special skills? Perseus said, if you want to achieve something great, you need to have certain assets. My swordsmanship is excellent. Katie's indifferent tone carried a hint of pride. Just how powerful is it? You'll find out when you come with me at noon. Katie left as soon as she finished speaking, seemingly unconcerned that he would forget about it. This woman is even more arrogant than Ivisa. Moreover, she seems to genuinely lack understanding of social etiquette. Unlike Ivisa. Ivisa understood, but she disdained it. Congratulations, Miss Katie, he's really captured your attention. At lunchtime, Katie left her seat and walked straight over to Perseus, looking at him without saying a word. The girls around Perseus all looked at her, but she remained unmoved. Honey, I told you this before. Ivisa left just like that. Perseus, why is this woman looking at you with such a fierce gaze? Luna asked, puzzled and excited. Are you in trouble? Are you about to get into a fight? It's also possible that he's trying to cheat on his girlfriend again. Helen guessed seriously. Perseus, should I go and call Jerome? The way Millie Farah looked at Katie suggested that she wasn't someone to be trifled with. My dear, see Luna onto the carriage. Luna, be a good girl and go home. You're not allowed to hang around my neck. I really can't take you with me this time. Humph, even pleading won't work. Your Highness Mellifera, there's no need to call him Your Highness Jerome, but you can give him my regards. After making sure all the girls were settled, Perseus left with Katie. Chapter 68, An Unexpected Deal. Given Katie's current financial situation, she certainly couldn't afford a carriage, so she always walked home. Perseus wanted to walk alongside Katie, but Katie walked very fast and would always be several steps ahead of him no matter what. It's strange. Even though she's only a little taller than Helen and her legs aren't particularly long, she walks quickly and steadily. Looks like he's a real expert. Katie is going home to get her sword. Before leaving the school gate, she gave him this brief instruction and then ignored him, hurrying along without caring whether he could keep up. Perseus could certainly keep up, and he could keep up very gracefully. Only a tiny bit of wind magic was used for assistance. After walking for a long time, Katie came to a narrow, cramped street that could only be walked on and stopped in front of a very old shop. I'm back. Katie spoke to the simply dressed, weathered couple inside. The room was somewhat dim, but Perseus could clearly see the expressions on the two people's faces. The man is the current Duke of Svennig, probably the worst off among the surviving dukes. His face was neatly made up, but years of hard work and bitterness had taken something away from him, making his expression look both dull and indifferent, even when looking at his own daughter. The situation is similar for the women. She didn't look like she was of noble birth, but her discerning and sharp eyes were on par with those of some nobles, and she immediately gave Perseus a thorough once-over. His appearance was probably satisfactory to her, which is why the woman showed a cautious smile. Katie, who is this young master? Is he your friend? The woman put down her work, patted her apron, and came over. The man glanced at Perseus, then lowered his head and continued with his work. Throughout the woman's approach, Perseus's observation continued. Perseus Perrin greets Madam. Perseus bowed politely. Having probably never been treated like this before, the woman covered her gaping teeth in surprise and turned to face the house, asking, Hey, what level of nobility is the Perrin family? The man remained expressionless. Just a minor earl, and one that has long since fallen into decline. It's amazing that this person even knows about their family. Upon hearing this, the woman's enthusiasm for Perseus instantly diminished by more than half, though she still retained a tiny bit. She asked cautiously, Young man, how much dowry can you offer if you want to take Katie away? What are your expectations, madam? Perseus smiled. At least 100, oh no, 200 gold coins, right? The woman stared intently at him. If you can't come up with that, then you should give up on the idea. My daughter is, after all, a duke. Enough. Amanda, shut up. Stop embarrassing yourself, the man yelled impatiently. The woman muttered a few curses, rolled her eyes at Perseus, and went back inside. Katie, what's the meaning of bringing this person here? The man asked, frowning. I'll come back for the sword, Katie said calmly. You haven't given up that unrealistic idea yet. I've told you countless times. Those people will never let the Svenny family stand up for us again. They framed us back then. They're afraid of our retaliation if we make a comeback. So they want to keep us under their feet forever, so we can never rise again. The man's cold words carried an almost tangible resentment. What you should do now is drop out of that academy. Although it doesn't cost much, if you go to school, there will be one less person at home to do chores. Anyway, you don't have any magical talent, and no decent noble children are willing to associate with you. Going there would be a waste of your time. He then looked at Perseus and said, I have taught you since you were a child that although our Sphanic family has declined, we are still dukes. Even if no son of a great nobleman is willing to marry you, you should marry into an honest and upright family, and then live a down-to-earth life and pass on the great name of our Sphanic family. I absolutely cannot associate with this kind of good-looking playboy. Perseus was speechless. How is he a playboy? It's good that it's all show and no substance. This shows that in other people's eyes, he is quite handsome. Young man, the man looked at him. I don't know what your purpose is in getting close to my daughter, nor do I know how far you two have progressed. I advise you to stop here, otherwise I will go to the palace to see His Majesty. Even if I don't see His Majesty, I will report your inappropriate behavior to him, which will be very detrimental to your future. Your Grace, you have clearly misunderstood. Miss Katie and I are just ordinary friends. The man didn't believe it. On the other side, Katie had already drawn her sword. It was a sword that looked quite old. It might even be an antique. Faced with her parents' misunderstanding of her relationship with Perseus, she did not explain, but simply invited Perseus to leave together. Wait, this is the Sphnig family's heirloom sword, a treasure used by the first duke to establish his merits. Where are you taking it? The man shouted. Is that even a question? Of course, we should use it to build new achievements, not let it rot in this place and dream of reviving the family. Katie said coldly. The man's face flushed red. You're dreaming. I told you long ago. Yes, you told me I couldn't succeed, that I'm a woman, and that I could never succeed, but I also told you I've had enough of all this, including the reasons you gave me. You dare to look down on your father? Who do you think rotted in this place, enduring endless humiliation and torment, just to raise you and then send you to that aristocratic club to enjoy a life of luxury? I will repay the kindness you have shown me. All talk and no action. What will you use to repay this debt? If you don't kneel down and apologize right now, and put the sword back, you can forget about getting another copper coin from me. After a moment of silence, Katie looked at Perseus and held out her hand. Give me the money. How much do you want? Perseus asked without hesitation. 200 gold coins. From now on, I am yours. I will repay the money you borrowed from me tenfold. Once I have returned 2,000 gold coins to you, you can set me free. No problem. Wait a moment. I'll go get the money. Wait, Katie, what do you mean by this? The man rushed out with a grim face, followed by the woman, who was eyeing Katie and Perseus menacingly. To repay your kindness in raising me, Katie said calmly. If 200 gold coins isn't enough, I can give you 400. Where did this man you found come from to produce 400 gold coins? Did he bewitch you with some kind of magic potion? No, I found him myself. The man slapped her hard across the face, but Katie didn't flinch. Perseus grabbed the hand. Your Grace, isn't it beneath a nobleman's dignity to lay a hand on a lady? I'm disciplining my own daughter. What business is it of yours to interfere? The man sneered. How do you think I know your parent family? Back when my family was at its peak, one of your ancestors was begging and crying to be our ancestor's groom. I never expected that the Duke would remember a mere stable boy. It is truly an honor. Enough with the nonsense. 200 gold coins. Just 200 gold coins. If you can come up with that, you can take her away today, and from now on she will have absolutely no connection with the Spheni family. She will also be forbidden from using the Spheni surname. I don't care anyway, Katie said coldly. You ungrateful wretch. No, let's keep it at 600 gold coins. 300 gold coins for Miss Kitty, and 300 gold coins for your family heirloom sword, Perseus said calmly. The man frowned. He suspected that Perseus couldn't possibly come up with that much money, and he was also reluctant to part with his family heirloom sword. After all, it represented their family's past glory. However, upon hearing the price of 600 gold coins, the woman completely lost her mind, constantly tugging at the man's sleeve and giving him all sorts of meaningful glances, extremely anxious. Then 600 gold coins. The man looked very unwilling. Perseus smiled. Although it's unclear what exactly happened, it seems he bought a woman. No, shouldn't it be considered a loan? although it's still unknown whether she's worth the price. But even if Miss Kitty's looks and figure didn't earn him 6,000 gold coins, he wouldn't lose money on her. Perseus led the three to the bank to withdraw money, made the handover at the door, and then left with Katie and the family heirloom sword. The couple carried the money bag together, but they only glanced at them before focusing on counting the money. Chapter 69, A Declaration of Glory, inspired by a talented reader. It was good that the Duke of Sphnig chose to die rather than surrender after being captured by the rebels, but it wasn't good enough. He should have just committed suicide. In this way, he would truly have no use to the rebels and would never embolden the rebels. In this way, a duke of a nation would not be rescued from the rebel camp in a disheveled state, losing face for the empire. This way, the emperor wouldn't be put in a difficult position regarding how to deal with him. After all, while the emperor could claim that the duke had not submitted to the rebels, others might not think so. Once you fall into a sewage pool, no matter how clean you wash it, others can still smell the odor. This is actually more of a psychological unease. When a duke suspected of being a traitor can still rise to a high position and enjoy wealth and honor after the war, flaunting his power in front of everyone, will this cause the imperial subject to question the emperor's authority? This is something no emperor could tolerate. Therefore, the Sphanic family must fall, become an object of contempt and trampling by everyone. Even if the duke committed suicide on the spot after being rescued to show his integrity, the emperor would still reward the Sphanic family, give the duke a grand funeral, and deliver a sorrowful eulogy to the entire nation at the funeral, praising the duke's loyalty to the empire and the royal family. In this way, the family's reputation can be preserved, and the wealth and honor of future generations can also be preserved. But the duke, perhaps senile or perhaps clinging to a sliver of hope, simply did not die. No wonder the emperor didn't show any mercy. Only brainless idiots would treat this as a joke. In the eyes of discerning people, it is actually a chilling and terrifying story. Those who knew the truth dared not speak out, and neither did the duke and his descendants. So they could only let those self-righteous idiots spout nonsense everywhere. They thought the duke was being unjustly targeted by the enraged emperor, but it wasn't that simple. The heart of an emperor is as deep as an abyss and as imprisoned as a prison. Whether he is angry or not is not up to him, even if he himself decides. Duke Sphnig was indeed unlucky, but his misfortune was not due to being captured by the rebels, nor was it due to the emperor's misfortune. It's just that they ended up with such a cold-blooded and ruthless monarch. Unfortunately, no matter which emperor he fell into, he would have met the same fate. Because all the emperors of the Charinria Empire were this kind of people. Being a subject of the empire is truly a blessing. Perseus followed Katie to an open space that had been abandoned for a long time and was even frequented by stray dogs. Katie was clearly not a first-timer here. She knew her way around like the back of her hand. This girl is no ordinary person. She just broke off all ties with her biological parents, yet she acted as if nothing had happened. Her coldness even made Perseus feel uneasy. He couldn't help but worry whether this kind of person would keep a verbal promise made without any contract. Keep in mind that he paid a hefty sum of 600 gold coins, and that money wasn't even his. It belongs to Winnie. Buying Katie clearly cannot be reconciled with the idea that this was also for Ivais's good. Despite the terrible risk of being suffocated by Winnie's magnanimity, he had no intention of hiding it from her. Instead, he would be open and honest with Winnie and seek her help further. However, the immediate priority is to determine whether Katie is someone he can truly trust. Little Katie, don't worry. Katie seemed to see right through him. You spent 600 gold coins on me, and I will pay you back 6,000 in the future. And until the debt is paid off, I am yours. As long as it doesn't affect my dream, I can do anything for you. Not only my martial arts skills, but you can also use my body at will. If you don't believe me, I can prove it right now. She calmly pointed to the grove of trees in the distance. Isn't this a bit too exciting? Although he was very pleased with her understanding and was quite tempted by her proposal, Perseus did not lose his reason. Hee, you obviously misunderstood me. I just wanted to say that the decision we and your parents made just now seems too hasty. Upon closer inspection, it was somewhat inappropriate. But if you insist on leaving that family, I will provide you with any help you need as your friend. Money is not important to friends. He thought his words were quite appropriate, but Katie frowned. You're so pretentious. Perseus was taken aback by her outspokenness. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you think. I will only do what I decide. Whether you are genuinely generous or just pretending